Hello and welcome to warrenthornton.com. You can follow us Monday to Friday, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. live interactive news show with great guests. You can also sign up for our free newsletter, which is available to you. We will be doing an election special tomorrow morning, telling you the winners and losers. But it's important that you know about what is happening at the moment. And Lee, please walk us through what you think people should be doing in this election.
Well, let's rephrase that and talk about what I think is going to happen in the election, and people will have to make up their own mind about what they do about that. It's looking increasingly inevitable and disastrous that the Labour Party are going to be walking into Westminster with a huge majority after this election. I think we have to ask the question, why did Sunak call the election now? He didn't need to. It's on the back of the Obama visit, in my opinion, in a couple of months back. I think that, this is not so much an election as a baton handover. It's a handover of the baton from the right wing of the bird, the blue wing, to the left wing of the bird, the right wing. We're going to march down the same path. I think that the World Economic Forum and the United Nations are behind their clock with regard to the UN Agenda 21, United Nations Agenda for the 21st century, of which we're in 2030. And if we look historically, the conservative wing of the bird has walked down the path, but slowly and reluctantly, and it's dragged its feet a little bit. And the left wing of the bird has chased and run and harried its way down the same pathway to the same end goal much quicker. And with Brexit and with 4 years of Trump, the left wing the globalists, the New World Order, are behind their schedule. And so what we're going to see now is a hurrying up. So they need that handover. They need that baton handed over from the right wing of the bird to the left wing of the bird so that we can get down this path to globalism quicker. And I think that's what we're seeing. If you look at the media side of this, the media have swung in behind Starmer, who is as wooden as they come. He's as wooden as Sunak. Sunak's a wooden top. But they've swung in behind Starmer since he went to Davos in January to be anointed. And I think that's important to know. It's important to notice, and it's important to put that dot on the board, because Sunak is a young global leader of the World Economic Forum, and he was appointed in 2020, sorry. He is basically a Goldman Sachs banker. He went through the World Economic Forum's Young Global Leaders program. He was given one of the safest seats in England for the Conservatives. He was then given the Chancellor of the Exchequer role far too early in terms of being his ministerial experience. And then he was made Prime Minister by diktat. He wasn't selected during the Conservatives' leadership selection. Liz Truss was. Liz Truss was at least elected by somebody, the Conservative members, and the globalists, the powers that be, decided that they picked the wrong one, and so the markets moved against the UK. The markets moved against the pound. Liz Truss was removed for essentially doing the same policies that were Margaret Thatcher's policies, which was tax cutting and stimulating the economy, giving people their money back. So she had to go. So Sunak came in, and we've had what we've had with regard to the COVID crisis. We've had what we've had with regard to the economic crisis. We've had what we've had with food and food inflation, with fuel inflation. We've had what we've had with regard to the cost of living crisis. And then we've had 2 years, nearly 2.5 years now, of war in Ukraine. And so the public want to change. The public are dissatisfied. But the choice that they're left with is this left wing of the bird and the right wing of the bird, and the media position on both of those parties. The bright spark for us is reform. And reform has sort of come through the slips a little bit, not quite enough to do much in this election. So I think what we're going to see is obviously a Labour victory, a Labour government. I think it's going to be a supermajority, or what we're now referring to as a supermajority. I think it's going to be disastrous for the country. But I think Reform are going to be, even if they get less seats than the Conservatives, I think they're going to be the effective opposition, because of they actually have something to say. And so what we get effectively is then a Labour government with a Reform opposition and a Tory party, however big or small it remains, infighting for a decade plus. And I think with luck, Reform will get 30 plus, maybe. I think there's a possibility of them getting around 80 seats, but I think the reality is they're probably going to get between 20 and 30 seats.
Okay, I'll give you my little take on it now, and then we'll come back to Lee for a summary, and I'll do a quick summary of what we can expect and what we have to not look forward to. Very, very simply, I'm going to give you what I consider my guide, my own personal opinion, my guide on what you should be looking for when you're voting for your candidate. So I'm going to go through 10 subjects very, very quickly and ask you, are they saying yes or are they saying no? Now, if they're mainly saying no, my belief is this is a candidate that you should not be voting for. If they are going to vote yes on most of these topics, then that's the candidate that you should pick. And I don't care whether it's Conservative, Labour, Reform, the Workers' Party of Great Britain, or the monster raving loony party. If they are going to vote no on all these issues, if they say they're going to say no on all these issues, then you should be avoiding them like the plague. The more yeses you get, the better off you should be. So let's start with what's going to be the number one topic, which is going to be immigration. Will they stop immigration, and will they reverse the trend? If the answer to that is no, you shouldn't be voting for them. When it comes to tax, do they promise no tax increases? If the answer to that is no, then very simply you shouldn't be voting for them either. Will they stop backing wars and pouring money into wars all around the globe? If the answer to that is no, I won't vote for them. Vaccines in the WHO, will they stop vaccines being taken until they're completely and fully tested? And will they say no to the WHO treaty? If they're willing to say it's one of them, will they stop the vaccines and will they stop the WHO treaty? If the answer to that is no, I'll vote for them. Brexit, will they continue? Brexit was never going to work because we were never going to allow it to work. Will they take us back into the EU? Will they continue with Brexit? If the answer to that is no, then you shouldn't be voting for them. LGBTQ, will they be pushing these books in schools and the gay and trans agenda on us even more? And these books in school, will they take them out of school? If the answer to that is no, you shouldn't be voting for them. Very, very simply, when it comes to family, will they be pushing, will they be allowing, one woman had 48 abortions, will they be stopping people from getting more than one abortion? Will they be stopping this legislation that is pushing more and more gay and trans rights agendas? If the answer to that is no, you shouldn't be voting for. Corporations, will they refuse money going into the Houses of Parliament from these corporations that obviously are making sure that they vote the right way? The answer to that is no, shouldn't be voting for them. Israel and Big Pharma, will they stop lobbyists going into the House of Commons? The answer to that is no, you shouldn't be voting for them. And the World Economic Forum, will they stop attending Davos? Will they stop going there? Will they stop joining in this globalist agenda? The answer to that is no, you shouldn't be voting for them. That's just my personal opinion. The more yeses you get on those 10 questions, the more you should vote for that candidate. I'm going to hand over to Lee now for his summary, and then I'm going to give you a quick summary of who I think you should vote for if you're so inclined. Lee.
Well, I'm not going to tell you who you should vote for, but on those 10 topics, what I will tell you, the only one you can vote for is Reform UK, because all of those topics are dictated by the World Economic Forum. All of those topics are dictated by the United Nations and the agendas, the Agenda 2030 that we're in. So if you don't want immigration, if you don't want taxation, if you don't want LGBT rights being at the top of the agenda, then you have to vote Reform, because they're the only party that's not supporting those agendas. If you look at all of those 10 points, 10 topics that Warren's just listed, then they are all promoted, they are all part of the agenda, And you cannot stop them if you're still a member of the United Nations. You cannot stop them if you still signed up to the World Economic Forum. You cannot stop them if you're a member of the World Health Organization. So the answer to that list of 10 is reform. Other than that, carry on.
And very, very simply, I'm going to tell you who you should vote for, and I'm going to tell you one person that you should vote for. I'm not going to tell you all the others because I think they're all corrupt in their own way. I am saying that you should vote for Andrew Bridgen if you live in northwest Leicestershire, for the simple fact that he's the only one actually fighting for the people. They are elected to do your bidding, not the bidding of corporations. And that is exactly what they do, and they make a ton of money whilst hoisting and foisting misery upon all of us. You have a chance to make a difference. If you don't vote, you won't make any difference at all. You have one chance in every 5 years to make a difference. Make sure you use it and send a message to them. It may not improve everything, but just think about it. You can use your vote to kick them out of office. They need your vote because they want their spoon going in the gravy. If they want that to happen, then very simply, you are the one that's holding the gun to their head. Make sure you use that bullet that you've got very, very wisely indeed. Take care, and we'll see you all again tomorrow morning. And you can follow us on that show at warrenthornton.com, and Monday to Friday, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m, where we have great guests on our live interactive news show. But for the time being, we're out of time. So it's goodbye from me.
And it's goodbye from him. Goodbye.